Yo, welcome back guys. Today, I'm going to show you one of the strongest SN700 finale builds for silos. We'll break down a hidden mechanic, a simple trick to recharge your Deviant faster, and finally figure out which secondary weapon works best with this setup. But before that, a quick sponsor segment. Need to top up your favorite games fast and safely? With TopUp, you can easily recharge balances for many different games in just a few clicks. And yes, Once Human is available too. Just choose Once Human, enter your UID, select your region, and then pick the server where your character is located. And here's the best part. Use code WHITE for up to 12% off. Then pick your amount and finish the order. Check the link in the description and top up with TopUp today. While testing this build and trying to push the finale's damage as high as possible, I discovered a hidden mechanic that makes a huge difference. The finale can build up to 5 reverb stacks, and the last bullet in the magazine becomes a fully charged shot. However, there's a strange interaction with battle skill Deviants. When you activate the battle skill, the charge on your final bullet disappears, causing you to lose part of its damage. To bring the charge back, activate your Deviant while you still have 2 rounds left, then fire one shot anywhere, even into the ground. After that, use your final bullet on the target. As you can see from the comparison, that one extra shot makes a huge difference in damage. Let's move on to calibration. For finale, we use rapid shot style with crit rate. For the FP9, we use heavy style for additional magazine capacity. The secondary attribute doesn't really matter here, so you can use whatever you have. Let me explain why we use the FP9 in the first place. This is the best option when you already have enough damage, but your Deviant takes too long to recharge. Its main advantage is that reloading an empty magazine restores up to 20% of your Deviant energy. And there's a small trick that allows us to abuse this mechanic. Simply changing your ammo type and reloading will not trigger the effect. But if you change the ammo type, swap to another weapon, and back to the FP9, and then reload the empty magazine, this restores your Deviant energy. You can repeat the process with different ammo types until your Deviant is fully charged. I also used Bingo during this run to increase my damage against the boss. For Bingo, we use rapid shot style calibration with weak spot damage. For the key gear piece, we use Cage Helmet. Basically, every time shrapnel procs, it hits twice. For the armor set, we use 3 pieces of Savior and 2 pieces of Lone Wolf for additional crit rate and to increase our magazine capacity to 6 rounds. These are the skins I'm using on my gear. And don't forget, 4 pieces of the rabbit skin activate the Soaring Leap effect, which gives you an extra 20% weak spot damage. For the Deviant, we use Butterfly's Emissary. The ultimate causes all of our damage to count as weak spot damage and also applies weapon vulnerability to the target. But the battle skill is just as important for this build. It instantly gives us all 5 reverb stacks, allowing us to skip the usual setup and go straight into the finale's fully charged shot. For traits, I recommend using Power Rewind 2, Weak Spot Master, and Moonlight Assault. Let's move on to mods. On Finale, we use Shatter Them All to increase shrapnel damage. On the FP9, you can use any general mod with additional magazine capacity. For Bingo, we use Vulnerability Amplifier for additional vulnerability. For the helmet, I normally use Precise Strike for additional weak spot damage. However, for the boss one-shot during this run, I used Momentum Up in the second preset. For the mask, we run Shrapnel Carnage, which gives us a massive boost to shrapnel damage. On the chest, we use Rejuvenating for additional shields and better survivability. For the pants, we normally run Reload Rampage. This mod restores 2 bullets after every kill, allowing us to keep firing without constantly stopping to reload. But for the boss preset, I switched to Deadshot for additional crit damage. For the gloves, we use Crit Amplifier for additional crit rate and crit damage. And for the boots, we run Rush Hour with the Downstar suffix. Also guys, I wanted to mention that Once Human is now 2 years old. For the anniversary, the developers added a lot of new events with some really good rewards. The most interesting part is that you can get your first shiny mods from these events. And what makes this even more unique is that you can also get shiny vision mods. These are the mods with the lunar suffix, which are especially valuable for newer players who missed them before. On top of that, the new mod collection rewards give you even more mods, including level 17 mods and additional shiny mods. So overall, getting the mods you actually need has become much easier. And as a small bonus, you can also use this code shared with me by the developers to get some extra rewards. For drinks, I'm using Whimsical Drink and Stardust Mushroom Soup. For food, we go with hot dog and canned steak. And don't forget, for every dish that requires meat, we use bear meat. These are the cradles I'm using. So, what can I say after testing this build? At first I thought Finale was mostly just a boss killer, but it actually performs extremely well in silos, even without any real AoE. With the right setup, it can clear regular enemies, elites and bosses without any problems. That easily makes it one of the strongest weapons in the current meta. The only real downside is that you actually need to hit your weak spots. So yeah, I guess it's finally time to download Kovacs or AimLab and start working on your aim. And that's it guys. If you like the build and the breakdown, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. See you next time.